Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name's Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
All right, guys.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Good.
Yeah, fine.
Ashton's very busy this week.
I am.
You're doing a play.
I am doing a play. Again, another one. You guys are coming to see it tonight?
Yep. How are you feeling about that?
Fine.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. Weird. I made a mistake last night. I forgot to take my makeup wipes home with me and wore my stage makeup home. And I have a lipstick that could quite literally survive the apocalypse. Like, it doesn't come off.
What happens when you layer it up against tonight, or are you just not going to put it on?
I'm gonna put it on again.
Okay.
It doesn't come off when I'm trying to get it off. It does, however, come off on everyone else
Interesting.
almost
Right.
constantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You should clarify that the play involves
I have to kiss people in the
kissing
play.
people.
Yeah.
And the poor man I kiss nearly always looks like he's been kissed raw because he's covered in lipstick.
Like the Joker.
And it doesn't happen all the time, but like sometimes it does come off. So.
Did you get halfway through an anecdote there? So you went home yesterday.
Oh, sorry. I went home yesterday and I didn't. And so now my lips are a little bit pinker than normal and my eyes are a little bit darker than normal because I've still got the remnants
I noticed
of
your eyes were
waterproof-
darker. Yeah. I thought
the waterproof
they were.
mascara didn't come off when I was frantically trying to wipe it off with water.
Right.
So if I'm looking a little bit worse for wear on the joint stream and today's podcast, it's because I've still got last night's makeup on because I haven't got any makeup wipes at home.
Well, I
They're
don't
all
think
at
they
the
looked like bruised eyes. They just look like you're wearing makeup that you wouldn't normally wear.
Yeah.
But
It could be that it's a bit like blue tack, where you want to get a piece of blue tack off and you get another piece
Just
of blue
put
tack.
more.
So if you put more on, you might
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
find, or like when you've got, was it like a whiteboard?
yeah,
And
a
you've
dry
got-
wipe thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you've got pens stained on there. If you go over it and then wipe it off.
Didn't I hear
Maybe.
you
That
say
could
the
work.
other day that putting lip balm on top of the lipstick helps
makes it come off.
Right.
So
Interesting.
I've
Well, there you
put
go.
some lip balm on today, so hopefully as the day goes on, it'll get less. Everything else will get covered in lipstick, and I'll be fine.
Good makeup hints here to start off our video game podcast.
Yeah, I hate it. I don't want. I hate wearing makeup.
Yeah, you never wear
drives
makeup,
me
do you?
mental,
Yeah.
and it's annoying that I have to remember to like bring something to take it off, and I can't just go straight to sleep. That is also very annoying. Anyway, yeah, busy this week. I feel like I'm in a bit of a fog
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the moment.
Nothing feels real.
No,
Okay.
no. I got in early this morning, and I was like, "Where is everyone? What's going on?" And then I realized I was there an hour earlier than I normally am. So
Right.
How many more shows have you got?
3,
3 more?
yeah,
3 down?
2 down,
2 down, 3 to go.
3 to go.
Okay. And then how are you going to celebrate your freedom?
I'm gonna sleep.
By not doing another
Yeah.
play for a little
Just having
while.
some
Yeah.
spare
I've got
time.
the next 2 weekends. I've got no plans.
Whoa.
And I've never been more excited in my life. It's going to be amazing.
We need
They're my
to,
last 2 free weekends until the end of the year.
Wow.
So
Busy.
We need to conspire to come up with loads of things that we can invite Ashton to, so
Yeah.
she feels socially pressured to not have any downtime.
yeah.
And it can't just be, oh, do you want to come over for drinks? It has to be like, oh, do you want to come over for like my
Let's watch a video of me from when I was a child. We're
Oh,
doing
okay.
it.
Would that work?
That would absolutely. I'd
Really
be there in a
interesting.
heartbeat.
That's an obscure.
Well, I was thinking more about emotional, sort of emotional blackmail. I could say like,
Having
oh,
a really hard time
my
at the moment.
goldfish has died, and then I want to have like a commiseration drinks thing. Please, will you come?
I was thinking more. We've managed to get Chapel Roan to come around.
Oh my god! Then
Yeah.
I'd be there in
For
a
the
heartbeat.
afternoon.
Absolutely.
And then, but there wouldn't be when you arrived, and you'd be like, "Wow, I'm here now." And
But
then
here's
you
a
would've
dead
stayed.
fish.
It's Peter's dead fish.
Oh no!
This is not our Dead Fish and Play podcast. This is our video game podcast. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Each and every week, we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. Helps us keep that light bulb on. This studio light wasn't working when we got in, so we thought that it was. God, it's really hard to look at, actually,
Yeah.
lights. Who'd have thought? We thought we were in trouble there for a second.
Apparently, our burger alarm, but that's quite
Your
hard to say.
burger alarm.
Our burger alarm went
Burger
off at the office the other day, and no one could work out why. And the people who owned the building said there's a chance it might have been a spider walked across the sensor.
He's here.
Dead Island set off our alarm.
Dead Island 2, the spider. Can you see him in here anywhere?
He's too busy in the alarm box. I think.
No,
What do you think he gets up to at night? Like, what's he doing to set off the alarm?
Eating
round.
bugs.
Eating birds.
I was going to say eating burgers. That's why the burger
The
alarm
burger
went off.
alarm's
Yeah,
gone
it's
off.
so true.
I have the ad read in front of me.
Oh,
here.
yeah?
Now, of course, there's a big horror game coming out this month. Very exciting. And Konami, as promotion for this upcoming remake of a beloved horror classic, have partnered with a well-known AC brand. By AC, I mean air conditioning brand. to release a limited edition line of products on the lead up to the game's release. And they've like it's got stickers on the side, and if you have it on overnight, it whispers things to you that like makes you have really messed up dreams, like you have repressed feelings about this thing, and so on.
Do you know where he's going with
I
this?
have absolutely no idea where it's going.
The brand, what they've decided to call this line of
just figured
products
it out.
is, of course, Silent Chill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You will be able to purchase soon. Pre-order, actually, because they're going to be gone. All the scalpers will get them.
It's made by Bloober team, though, so might be a bit wonky.
I was
It
trying
might
to
be,
think of
although first impressions are pretty good for Silent.
Well, yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I was trying to think of a specific appliance like Silent Fridge or
Shouldn't
Silent.
it be Silent Chill 2? Silent Chill as well.
Well, if you get two, then yeah.
Right, yeah.
Silent Chill as well.
Bit weird selling those in October.
Well, in some parts of the world, they're actually having heat waves at the moment.
That's
I
true.
think in
In the
America,
Southern
it's still
Hemisphere,
really,
it's
really warm in in parts of America.
Yeah, apart from
at
the
moment.
ones that are underwater.
Well, there is
Yeah,
that. Our
not warm
thoughts
there.
with all of you affected by that.
Change.
Cli-
Sorry, carry on.
What was that?
That was
Sorry,
the ghostly spirit of climate change.
That was what it
the kind of thing
whispers
that's
at you
silent
from
chill
Silent
whisper,
Chill.
and then you
Yeah.
sleep and you go, oh my god,
Sorry.
I flushed a non-flushable wipe, and then that manifests as like a horrible nurse
Yeah.
who chases you in a
Yeah.
A
hospital.
wet wipe with 8 legs.
I don't like it. I don't like the sound of that at all. Unfortunately, it's not real.
Oh.
Silent Hill 2 remake is real though, and you know what?
Unfortunately.
Well, it sounds like Bloober Team
We'll
might
see how it
actually
goes,
have done a decent job. I would be thrilled to be wrong.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
we'll
they
see.
didn't have to make the game from scratch.
No, they
so
didn't.
Maybe
But
that's
considering what we have seen so far in trailers, and expectations may not have been that high, but actually they might have done an all right job. So fingers crossed. We're not sponsored by Silent Chill or Silent Chill 2. If you decide to purchase two of them, we are sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump. Thank you so much to our patrons who support us there. If you do that as well, you get access to all sorts of things, including asking questions for this podcast, exclusive access to episodes of Rules Boss and Main Menu, early access to episodes of Worst Games Ever and Weirdest Games Ever, and so much more. Go and check it out, patreon.com/Team TripleJump. TripleJump.mup is our website. That's where you can find links to everything that we do, and TripleJumpShop.com if you want to buy some lovely merchandise. Like, we're all repping
the
it today.
Lever's hoodie. That's what I'm
The
wearing.
sports
The
jacket.
sports time jacket. And that's, you got something in there? The
This is no
logo
longer-
shirt.
Well, actually, there might still be some, but it's not officially, no longer supported by Sony and Microsoft and the publisher involved.
What?
What are you
You okay?
saying now?
Just,
You mean as
You
in
can't do
that's
that to
just
me
a
today.
metaphor.
That
Okay.
specific shirt may no longer be available, but one like it is. Is that what you're
I'm
saying?
saying that we might still have some of these.
Right.
But we're not making new ones anymore.
Oh, okay.
You know, like when they stop making PS5s and they say, well, not PS5s,
Right.
but PS3s, and they say no longer supported by Sony.
Yeah.
But there are still some PS3s out there available to buy.
Mm-hmm.
This T-shirt is no longer supported anymore by Sony or Microsoft,
I can't do this
and I
today.
stand by it. I will double. I'll keep
Can
I'll
we
keep
stop
talking
Peter
about
No,
it.
talking?
I want to see how deep
Please,
it goes.
I
It's not
can't.
supported, or Nintendo. It's not supported by
Nintendo doesn't
Nintendo
like
anymore.
Sega?
Sega won't support
There's
it
some
either.
cool stuff
Did
out
they
this
ever
week.
have? Were they ever supported?
Yeah, they all
Is
used to
it-
support our T-shirts, but now
There's an episode of Weirdest Games Ever out this
Why did
week.
they stop?
don't know.
Disney Sports Soccer
Climate change.
is the game that we played. It's good and it's fun.
Yes.
And it involves like some actually really, really good like drawings that Ciaran has done for the edit.
Yeah.
That are like genuinely actually very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That's out on Sunday for everyone. But if you're a patron, it's already on the flipping Patreon.
Yeah, you could have had it last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, all being well, according to the editor involved, every Dragon Age companion rank from worst to best should be out. Should have gone out on Friday. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
You can get cross about where your favorite companion lines up on the lead up to Dragon Age: The Veil Guard's release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting. A couple more things to mention as well. There's an episode of Main Menu that came out for patrons this
Yeah.
week as well.
Indeed.
That was disgusting. And the last thing we have to say is that the Tatapeel officially opens next week.
Oh my gosh.
So please be excited. 18th of November is the closing date. Obviously, if you intend to take part this year and you look up the address for last year's one,
It'll be
It's
the same.
very similar. So you could probably make an educated guess, but we'll start shouting about that properly next week if you wanna get stuck in for the big end of year TAT video.
Yeah.
That we will hopefully be making. So there we are. That's everything we need to plug this week. It's time for question 1.
It comes from Big Money Bobby Vegas.
Wah.
Thanks.
Wah.
Who says, "Hi Bap, quiet news for this week. Quiet for news this week, isn't it? Still, we press on." See what he did there? We press on. Microsoft are apparently reaching out to developers to find out. Like the free press. Microsoft are apparently reaching out to developers to find out why many of them are skipping development for their consoles in order to focus on PS5. I own both consoles because of course I do.
Full of money.
that
He's got the
big
big money. Yeah. But it does seem a shame for Xbox households that they're being skipped over. Apart from the obvious answer that the PS5 has massively outsold the Series S and X, why do you think developers are skipping Microsoft platforms? Yours, from an undisclosed tax haven, BMBV.
Monaco. He's in Monaco.
Thank you, BMBV.
Thank you.
I have a little snippet here from, in fact, I forgot to get the citation. Do you still have the link there on your notes, Ben?
Yeah, Game Rant.
The Gamer Rant.
The Gamer Rant.
Thank you. It says, in a recent blog posted by Microsoft on its website, Xbox Research Division announced it has expanded its scope to include the community of Xbox game developers. Part of their goal is to listen to developers and learn how to improve future tools and services. And with many reports saying sales for the Xbox Series X/S are better than many expected, the move to talk to developers could be an important factor that they need to focus on if Microsoft wants to succeed in the console business. A surprising thing mentioned during the blog, though, was that the new research program is welcoming input even from creators that aren't bringing their games to Xbox. Dr. Deborah Henderson, principal user researcher for Xbox, explained the concept wherein they're interested in knowing why said creators aren't on Xbox. Old rumors persist that Sony is paying developers to keep their games off Game Pass and Xbox as a whole, although there might be other reasons that Microsoft wants to find out. I've never heard those rumors.
No, me neither.
Weird.
I mean, we know all about the obvious timed exclusive stuff.
Yeah.
But certainly not.
Just paying people to not go to Xbox.
Yeah, we don't want any exclusivity, but, if you skip Game Pass, we'll give you
We'll
some
slip
money.
you a tenner.
Odd.
Yeah.
I mean, the most obvious answer to me is something we've touched on before, which is that if you want to release a game on Xbox Series X, you also have to make it available for Series S, which is a less powerful piece of hardware, and therefore it might make things tricky for you. You might essentially have to come up with 2 versions of the game that have different features enabled or disabled, or, just generally, more fidelity on one than the other. So I think that is potentially the most off-putting thing for certain people, but it probably doesn't explain every instance of this, particularly smaller or sort of maybe AA projects. They're probably going to run on X and S reasonably similarly, so that can't be the reason in and of itself. I think BMBV touches on a good point as well, which is simply that the PS5 has outsold the Xbox, and therefore, if for whatever reason you are a developer or publisher who perhaps has limited resources or limited focus and says, look, at the moment, we can only just do one console. That's all the resources, or we only have resources to do that right now. Then, you would just pick the one that has the more, the larger audience, so that you're more likely to get sales with all those people. So, I mean, those are the 2 things that spring to mind for me. I can't think there's anything inherently about Xbox as an ecosystem generally, other than the S issue, that would be obviously off-putting to other people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I think that the main drawback for developing for Xbox is the fact that you have to also have a game that runs on the S or is able to be scaled down enough to run on the S. I think that maybe, we talk about it a lot in terms of how good is Game Pass for the developers? How good is Game Pass for Xbox in terms of how much money does the things costs? Do developers lose money if they put games on Game Pass rather than just selling them? We kind of don't have a lot of the information regarding the financials behind Game Pass, which, they're a business. They don't want everyone to know what's going on. But maybe it's a matter of, we think we'll be able to get more sales if we just sell to PC and PlayStation without having to go to Game Pass. There may be certain things in contracts that if you are going to if a certain size game, if you're going to be on Xbox, you have to go to Game Pass, and people may not want that. There's like all kinds of things. I think I don't, like you say, I don't think it's because like people just actively don't want to develop for Xbox. I think it's probably more likely to be that they don't want to have to develop for the Series S, or like maybe Sony is just giving them a better deal in terms of give us your game and you'll get more sales, and also we'll promote the hell out of it on our blog. But I feel like it's not that often nowadays that we see games exclusively coming to PlayStation and not coming to Xbox unless they are first party games. I think it's more often we see games that come to Game Pass and like Xbox that don't come to PlayStation for like 6 to 12 months afterwards, if that. So I think that like the idea that developers aren't producing games for Xbox is one that I don't feel like is super prominent. Like I feel like maybe, yeah, they're struggling with like certain developers, but I don't see it like as an active issue of like, oh my God, there's no games coming to get like Xbox. That's crazy. Like I feel like it's a very healthy split in terms of games that are exclusive to one or the other at this point. But obviously they see an issue, but is whether that's the bigger publishers or the smaller studios, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Apart from the obvious bribery that's going on here, where they're being paid to keep their games away. You guys are both right. There's just a much bigger install base on PlayStation. If you are a smaller studio and you can only release on one system, that would be the obvious system to release on. The Series S has just must be a huge drawback for so many developers, certainly optimistic developers that want to make a game that perhaps is slightly too demanding for the Series X, and so they'd need to come up with some workarounds to make it run on the Series S, and again that requires more resources to have to do that. I think it's really good though what Microsoft are doing here, the fact that they're actually taking feedback on board from developers who are actively skipping Xbox is vital and is going to be really useful. And they're not stupid. They'll know that forcing people to develop Series S versions is going to be a drawback, but perhaps this will be having it in writing after this research is completed, because inevitably it's going to come up, will hopefully be what forces senior, management to actually act on it and perhaps either remove that requirement entirely or change it up, like we discussed the other week, by maybe Series S versions of games are just streamable, for example. So God, I can't think of anything else though. And as you said, Ashton, there could be a Game Pass element to it. I think people have said in the past that the Game Pass remuneration was quite generous, but there's no guarantee you're going to go on Game Pass if you go on Xbox. That's a whole other thing that you've got to work out as well. Yeah,
I do wonder though, in terms of like, they don't want to produce for the S. We see a lot of games now that get either ports or Switch versions as well, and if a game runs on the Switch, the game's going to run on the S. So I wonder how many of these games they're noticing are actually not going to the S or X but are ending up on Switch. I don't think we see an awful lot where it's like PlayStation and Switch, but you do actually, having thought about that, you do see a few more kind of indies or AA's going to Switch and PlayStation rather than heading to X.
I remember that happening with a game I covered recently where I was sort of saying, I think I was just on stream saying, oh yeah, it's available for I was reading them all off, and then I think I had it in front of me and I was like, an Xbox, and I was like, actually Xbox isn't on this list, and it was on Switch and PlayStation. I can't think what game it was there.
In that case then it is highly likely to be just a combination of the two, in that that's where the money is, on Switch and PlayStation. And if it would run on Series S, but it would require more resources to A, port it to Xbox full stop, and B, perhaps make a separate build for Series S if indeed that's required. I don't know how it works. If your game just runs natively on the Series S, I imagine you can then just release the same version for Series X instead of having to produce two completely different builds. But it's difficult to say. It's all resources at the end of the day, isn't it? And money that you're having to pour into this stuff. And there are just more people playing games on PlayStation and Switch at the moment. So hopefully, even if this research produces results that we all are already aware of and that they are already aware of, it will be the catalyst for them to coax more developers onto Xbox
Yeah.
going forwards.
Well, now, in honor of me doing a play,
Interesting.
I thought we could do a new segment called...
You just made your own segment, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just inspired me to
Wow.
come up with a segment
Right.
that I thought we could all do together.
Is it named after you or something?
No.
Oh,
It's not.
okay.
It's called What We Playin.
Oh, okay.
It's What We Play in time. Time to talk about the games what we have been playing. Pete Ost.
Yeah.
What have you been playing, please?
I played a couple of games this week. If I can get to the end of this sentence.
Oh, was
made
that?
it.
That's what you needed to do.
Yeah.
Just a little cough.
That's all. So I have I've returned to Tekken because some DLC has come out where I don't even. It's very much the headline of the DLC, so I don't think it's a big spoiler. It involves the character Heihachi
that guy.
Mishima, who is the all-time baddie of the whole series, or big guy. There were things that happened in the story of the base game that you might wonder what's going on here with this DLC with Heihachi. It's very, very confusing. So I've been enjoying that. Played some of the DLC, but also have just been doing some fighting and playing the weird little Xbox Connect characters in an arcade mode that they have. I've forgotten what it's called now, but where you wander around and you just play Tekken in an arcade as a little sort of tiny Peter character. Very strange. Not really sure what they were thinking, but I'd forgotten all about that until I booted the game up, and I was like, oh yeah, that weird thing. Anyway, so I've been enjoying that, but I've also finally opened the door and allowed the orphan to come in out of the snow.
Finally.
Good for
Is it
him.
still alive?
Just about, just barely. And I am now pretty much just slightly further than I have been the last 2 times I played that game. Because I wanted to start again.
Why?
I remembered what had happened because not a lot had happened, but I'd only played about 4 hours and then played the same 4 hours again on stream. And it's been several weeks, and I just thought I just want to go from the beginning, learn all the skills again as I go. I can't remember exactly what's happened or what people have been saying to me, what quests I've started. So I just thought, start afresh, and I'm now back in Star Wars Outlaws is what we're talking about. I've not actually said, but yeah, Star Wars Outlaws is what I've been playing.
Ubisoft's new Orphan game.
Yeah, the Orphan game. So, and I'm having a really nice time, and I'm looking forward to just potentially playing that for goodness knows how long now, for the next, several episodes of What We Play, and I'll be saying, hey, more Outlaws.
You do know that he does know that the protagonist is a woman, though, right? No?
She's so ugly that I thought she was a man, because men are ugly, as everyone knows.
Men are hideous.
Men are
Yeah.
ugly.
I'm glad you're liking it too. That's
Yeah.
nice.
It's good. But I think that's the only 2 things I played this week since
Amazing.
the last episode. Ashton.
I played a bit more Outlaws.
She does know that the protagonist is
You know
a woman.
it's a man.
Oh, I know it's I played a bit more Outlaws. I met Jabba.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah? How is
Yeah,
I
he's
hope you
big.
like job into
Big boy.
big boy.
slug.
Slug man.
Yeah, I managed to bug out one of the story missions where you're supposed to like have a companion kind of running through with you, and she's supposed to unlock the door, but it gave me the prompt to unlock the door, so I did the mini game, and then because she hadn't done the door unlock, she didn't know she was supposed to come with me.
Oh, no.
And Ben was watching me play it, and he was like, she's supposed to be talking now, but you've run off without her. And I was like, well, she didn't come with. But then eventually when we got to like kind of the boss fight of that area, she appeared. She was like, oh, hi, I'm back now. And we can do the boss fight together, which is good because if she wasn't there, I literally would not have been able to do it because she is required to do something.
Right.
But yes, so I've been playing some more Outlaws. That game is great. I'm having a good time with it. And the other thing I've played is Tiny Glade. I am
I've been wanting to play Tiny Glade.
obsessed with this game. I played it for like a good few hours on Saturday night. And I wanted to get an early night because I was exhausted. and I started playing it about 7, and I thought, I'm going to have to turn this off. Like, I'm going to have to set myself a time limit of, you can play this till 9:30, and then you have to go to bed. Because I was like, if I just let myself play this, I'm going to be playing it until 2:00 in the morning. Mm-hmm. It is so nice. Nice. You get given like a tiny glade, which is kind of one of different seasons. So you have like a winter, summer, autumn season, like looking area. Then you have one that's called Olden, I think, and then another one that I can't remember the name of. And basically you just pick it and you just go in. There's no missions, there's no objectives, there's no winning. You just build whatever you want to build. And there's like square houses, circle houses. You can like make them as like taller or make them all the way down to the ground, so they're like little patios. You can change what they look like. You can add windows, and if you add multiple windows to one spot, the windows get bigger. You can have variations on those windows and the doors, and everything kind of fits together and works in a way where if you put 2 houses together, you won't be able to see like that they're 2 separate blocks. You can kind of morph them into each other, and the game blends things really well. So you can put like 2 bits of patio together, and it won't have like the rim of both of them. It will become one space.
And it's all a bit sort of fairy tale looking.
Yeah. It's really
cute, medieval.
Yeah. It's really nice. I played it on stream this week as well, and we built a castle, and that was nice. But I basically spent ages like building a village, just like lots of little houses and like an overhang, and you can do the landscapes. You can add like a river running through the place, or you can add like trees and flowers and everything. And I've just been having a lovely time. Like, it's just a nice time to just stick things together. There's nothing, things don't necessarily look as good as you want them to, but until you like know all the ways to make things, it's kind of hard to hit the levels. I put my village up on Twitter, and I was like, I love this game. For the hashtag, clicked on the hashtag, wish I'd never done that, because it's just like, I built Hogwarts, and like a biblically accurate Hogwarts.
They just
and I was like,
put your little village to shame.
Yeah, I was like,
man,
I'm so
sad.
happy with my village. I built a little witch tower, and I was like, this little house is an apothecary. Ha ha ha, lovely
You
for
can't
me.
compare
And then-
yours to other people.
Well, no,
You'd
well,
be
yeah.
sad.
But someone had built like the entire city of Santorini. And I was like, how dare you? I mean, I can't even begin to imagine how they've done that. And like looking at them, I was like, how?
Cheating.
Yeah.
Bribery.
But every day there's like a new little like challenge where they're like, we know that some people like a bit of inspiration. So here's like a name and like the start of a building. So I think today's is like town square. So you can build a town square and then take a picture of it and put it on Twitter or whatever. But it's just lovely. And I keep nerding out about it because I love the way that the plants move onto the buildings. Like if you build a wall, it'll put like bushes along the bottom, or there'll be like vines climbing up it. And if you put a window or a door, the vines will then go around the door. And then sometimes if you put doors in certain places, there'll be decorations that will appear. And if you move the door around, different decorations will appear that fit in certain areas. There'll be like a pitchfork against the wall or like a hay bale. And it's just lovely. Just lovely. And a nice time. So I've been playing that, and I really want to play some more because it's very much head empty, build little town.
Nice.
It's nice.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah. What have you been playing?
I played a few things. Last week when I said I'm going to finish Final Fantasy VIII,
Yeah.
I've deleted it.
Oh.
I don't like it.
No.
I've come to realize. I
realised you didn't like it a little while ago.
I think everyone knew before you did.
Yeah.
takes me a little. I didn't want to accept
Yeah.
that I didn't like it because I've always wanted to play it. I've had it for ages. And obviously I was blasting through it with the cheats. I got all the way to the beginning of the 4th disc, and I didn't have much left to go. But I was well and truly in the realm of time for interdimensional celestial god beings. I was completely lost. And it's completely my fault because the way I was playing it was not conducive to really absorbing the story and the characters. But it is an extremely experimental Final Fantasy game, I would say, especially if you go from the sort of mechanics of Final Fantasy VII to then something sort of similar or recognizable in Final Fantasy IX, and then Final Fantasy VIII is just like mental in comparison. Like it feels like a completely different series of game. Wasn't really connected to the characters. I had no real clue what was going on in the story, and I hit a boss that my super mega, remaster cheat thing that lets you just, whenever you get hit, your health refills automatically, was no longer helping me. I was being like one hit killed by stuff. And after a couple of attempts and a loss of progress where I had to go back and fight another boss which I'd struggled with and before that, I just decided that I am cross and life is too short, and I would really love to see the end of this game and say that I've finished it, but actually I dislike it and I don't want to play it anymore. And so I uninstalled it in a rage. I wasn't actually in a rage. I was just like,
right,
you know what?
Yeah.
Life's too short, and I've had enough of this. I gave it a go. One thing that really annoys me, right, about it, even before I have now admitted that I don't really like it that much, is that even in Final Fantasy VII, you could press the select button, which would bring up helpful bits of HUD on screen to show you where the entrances and exits are from a particular area that you're in, because it's all hand-drawn. Not so with Final Fantasy VIII. So a lot of the time, I'm like running up to doors and hammering buttons to interact with them. Like I can't tell where you can and cannot leave a section from, which was a problem that a lot of PS1 games had anyway with their pre-rendered backgrounds and stuff. But the fact that the game before had an answer for that and this one didn't was a bit of a bummer. Having said that, though, there was some, the CG really impressive for the time, for sure. And they actually incorporated your in-game sprites into these animations. So, for example, in one location, the City of the Future that I mentioned the other time, you go down some like grand lift that's like taking you into the place, and the camera's zooming out and showing all this like an actual CG thing that's playing. But your little character, you can still move them around on the lift in real time, which is, looks a bit wonky now, but still very impressive. So there's a lot of stuff that they did that I think is really cool, but it just did not connect with me, and I'm sad now that I didn't get to finish it. So I deleted that. I then, because I was at a bit of a loose end last weekend, fired up Borderlands 2, tried to continue that on the Portal, and played it for like 15 minutes in one of the open areas where I had loads of side quests, and then decided, actually, I'm not really feeling this, can't be bothered with that. So I stopped playing that. I was in one of those moods. Me and my girlfriend were doing a playthrough of Devil in Me, the Dark Pictures game. And we were trying to just get them all killed, but not by failing QTEs, by just making bad decisions. And turns out, actually, it's really hard to kill everyone off if you just make bad decisions. As long as you hit the QTEs, you're fine. Yeah. And so there were several points where we picked intentionally bad choices, and the game would still like just throw us go on, you can carry on playing. Like, there's one bit where the guy with the axe, you don't hide where you are, he swings down at you, and then like it looks like blood spatters all over the wall, zooms out, and he's hit a can of tomato soup or something. And it's like a good foot away from where you were cowering, at which point the character runs away, and it's like, come on. Why did he do that?
Yeah, that's on him, not on you.
That doesn't make any sense. So it sort of shattered the illusion a bit about how, some of the characters could die easier than others. But we ended up actually finishing with 2 characters alive, which was really annoying. But it was nice playing through that again. I love those games a lot. Played some more Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. Awful game. Horrendous. No idea what's going on in that. Don't know why they made it, but I'm still having fun in co-op with my friend.
You're having a good time in Final Fantasy right now.
Yeah, really. Like, they just released some stinkers, didn't they? I'm not saying 8 is a stinker. It is a stinker. Played a little bit of... I've played loads. I played a little bit of 5 Dates, the World's Interactive game. Just felt like playing some of that. Astrobot. I finished the stupid level that it makes you do.
The final challenge.
The final challenge. Yeah, it took me a little while, but I did do it. And I've now got the Platinum Trophy. And yes, the final bot is a bit of a strange choice, I think. And also, quite notable by their absence, there are no resistance-related bots.
I know, I was waiting for one.
All.
Yeah.
I think the disrespect there is disgusting. Very upset by that. They could put in flipping Vib Ribbon or whatever that is. but not
Jumping Flash was
Nathan
there.
Hale or a Chimera or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing I did on stream this week was I got my 300th platinum trophy, which was Peppa Pig World Adventure.
Yeah.
And yes, it does pay tribute to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
In the middle of the game.
Yeah, you visit London. She drives you around in her bus.
Splash around in some puddles.
She splashes in some puddles, and then it fades to black and says, "We were, in loving memory of Queen Elizabeth II,
yeah.
Whatever," in a kids game. Which I imagine, if you're a child, it's probably quite upsetting because you're going to need that explained to you.
Yeah.
That the Queen has died.
Yeah.
But also very funny.
Very funny.
So after I got my 300th, it opened up the door a bit. I managed to get the Astrobot Platinum. I played like the last few bits I needed to in Vember last night to get the Platinum in that as well because I got pretty close. That's a great game. Very sad
very
and
nice.
very touching in places. But that finally is everything that I've played.
Lovely. Now it's time for question 2. Comes from Chris McVeigh. Hi, BAP. PlayStation Network went down this Monday/Tuesday, leaving many unable to play their games, even certain single-player ones. This seemed well-timed with the news of the new California legislation that forces digital storefronts to admit that you don't own anything when you buy a license from them. You've spoken at length about issues of all digital, always online future. So instead, a hypothetical. If Sony were to say in response to all this that you could pay extra to have full ownership of your game from the store, no questions asked, no limits on usage, no risk of revocation, etc., would you do it?
Thanks, Chris.
So yeah, essentially, in case you didn't get the most important bit, the PlayStation Network went down this week for fully 8 hours, I think in total it was. And it only finally came back online on Tuesday. It basically meant that there was an 8-hour lengthy 8-hour. Sorry, you said. Oh,
Hello.
Come on, you can do it.
A lengthy 8-hour outage that prevented users on PlayStation 5, 4, and 3, and Vita from playing online games. It was across the store and the video section as well on PlayStation, and account management and gaming itself. With the network down, online games were out of action, leaving players everywhere twiddling their thumbs. Communication was light on the ground too, although the issues were acknowledged by the Japanese PlayStation customer support account on Twitter. No indication was given on when we could expect PSN back up. Thankfully, though, it now sounds like the service had to be restored, and they restored it, which is lovely. But yes, that was from Games Radar, in case you just wanted to know whose words I just butchered. But yeah, it was down for a bit, but they fixed it.
And it's also been announced, as it says in the question, that is this? Do we know that this is happening, or is it sort of proposed? The California legislation.
I think it's passed. Sorry, I should have
passed. Yeah. So when you're buying something digitally, you now have to. The seller has to say, technically, you're not buying this. You're buying a license to it, which is a bit different to just having full ownership of it, because service can go down, or things can just be, as we've seen in recent weeks, things can just be taken away from you, it seems. So if Sony were to say you can pay a bit more and there's no limits on usage or whatever, I think my first question, and maybe this isn't in the spirit of the hypothetical, but I think my first question would be, why, if you're admitting that you're now putting some kind of technology in place, or a pathway in place where I can fully own what I'm buying, why are you charging me extra for that?
Why isn't that just the base level?
Yeah, if that's possible, that my game is always just going to run and it isn't going to be tied to the network being up, then that should just be an option. That should just be how you do it always. So if we're just hypothetically saying, well, for whatever reason they're not doing that, would I pay more? Maybe for a couple of games that clearly are going to mean a lot to me, and I think that I might want to always have access to them. But generally speaking, those are probably going to be some like very major big name games that you'd like to think will be supported for a very long time. And we have seen that games that were once huge do eventually get just completely removed from particularly stuff that was on the PS3 and PS4 at this stage. It does seem to vanish. But, you know, say, I mean, it's not first party, but just as an example, when Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time came out, I have a hard copy of that, but if I was to buy it digitally and sort of think far enough ahead that, all right, in 10 years' time, I might not be able to play this anymore, then possibly, you know, a few games like that I might pay extra for so that I could just always have offline access. But yeah, my big question would be, why are you charging me for that when you're saying it is possible, but we're not going to offer it to everyone unless you pay extra? I'd be offended that was happening.
Yeah. I mean, the question is basically, would you like to go back to the good old days where you bought a disc and the disc worked in your PlayStation and forever?
Yeah.
And the answer is, I would like to do that, but I wouldn't pay more for it. I think that, like, if you would tell me that the disc version of a game will, like, it comes with the day one patch, the game's going to launch exactly as it's going to be forever. Apart from if you want DLC, in which case that you'll have to download, whatever. That's fine. It's just DLC. But I do think that, like, if you were to offer me that and you were like, the digital version is 50 quid and the disc version is 60 quid, I'd be like,
but will work forever.
Mm-hmm. I'd be like, no, maybe I'll take the disc version then. Like, I think that, like, I think people would love the opportunity to have a game as theirs, because it does feel like nowadays it's like you don't own anything and you just want people to give you the things that you have. And is that so much to ask, world? If I pay for it, it's going to be mine forever. And I think we've all just become complacent and fine with the fact that, like, yep, they can take our games away whenever they want to, and now they just have to disclose that they can do that, and it's fine.
And sometimes single-player games don't work when the network goes down.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's so many problems at the moment in terms of gaming and, like, saving games for the future and how much can be actually preserved. So I think from that perspective, I would pay a bit more just to, like, preserve the games, because I feel like you're saying, certain games, which I know I love and I would happily play, and, like, I always think about when people are adults and they have children, playing their games that they loved with their kids.
Yeah.
And how that, like, one day if I'm like, oh, this game, I used to love it, let's play it together. And then I can't play it with my child anymore because the day one patch and the updates that fix the game, make the game playable, despite having the disc, are unplayable because the server that provides them has gone. Mm-hmm. I think that is when, like, yeah, okay, maybe I'll spend more money to make sure that the version of the game I have is the version that I could play. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
In regards to places admitting that we don't own the stuff that we buy, I think that was sort of, I think we all kind of suspected that to an extent, because we're getting more and more headlines about how historic digital content that people own, they're getting notified that, hey, you're not going to be able to access this anymore. Like, you can download it and keep it, but, you know, frequently those places don't provide adequate facilities for people to download and store this stuff. They're just like, well, it's gonna go soon, so
yeah, cheers
for the money though all those years ago. To answer Chris's question, would you pay more? No, I would not. I believe that would be backtracked onto in time. Yeah. I think they would find all manner of loopholes to get around it. I'm just not interested in paying more to be lied to.
No,
and enough. Also, like, it would not only probably, like, create a new headache for publishers in terms of, oh god, okay, now we actually, even though I truly believe they'll find a way to wriggle out of it, they've now got to actually stick to an advertised promise about, you can access this forever. This is, like, that's a difficult thing to promise someone, and so that's gonna make it hard for them. And also, I'm not interested in having another tier of game to have to contend with alongside all the premium versions that release every time. You're going to have the base edition that you definitely don't own, the premium edition, the digital deluxe, the collector's edition, and the own it forever edition. And I think in and of itself, that's going to create a whole new market of BS that we have to navigate, where publishers, even if they fully intend on never following through are going to see dollar signs because that's a whole new market they can exploit. And they will actively, like, at the moment they've been dancing around it and sort of like, no one's really been saying you don't actually own this stuff, you're buying a license. But once the cat's out of the bag, whoever's buying the cheapest edition, they're going to find ways to strip more, basically as much away from those base editions as possible. Like, well, we don't have to pretend anymore that it's yours. So you can buy it for 6 months. Do you want to buy it for 6 months, maybe? I don't like the future that would potentially, capitalism would rip to shreds. But currently we're going for the convenience, but if I was to play devil's avocado here, and a really big devil's avocado, because this is not my opinion at all.
Sounds like someone who's about to say their own opinion would say.
Rude, no. I would say that physical media sometimes doesn't outlast digital media, in that physical media, I know nowadays discs are more robust than cartridges and so on, but certainly batteries inside old cartridges and games, like physical media does not last forever.
It's much easier to snap a disc than it is to snap a digital game.
Exactly. And so therefore I think you'll find that Activision are right. That's what I'm saying. But no, we're paying for the convenience. It's all going to come back to bite us in the ass at some point. We want it now. We're going to play it now. Are you going to want to play Star Wars Outlaws in 30 years? I don't know. Should you be able to access it? Absolutely, you should, because you paid for it. But it should be better than this, and we shouldn't have to pay extra for it.
I agree that it's a slippery slope in terms of what will capitalism do if that was step one towards, buy a 6-month license to this game, buy it monthly or whatever, that could be problematic. I still think I would buy very, very special games, though, notwithstanding the fact that I agree that in reality, this would be a difficult promise to keep, because they would say, oh, we'll do this, and then they would find a way of backpedaling.
They get absorbed by someone else.
Yeah, but I think speaking hypothetically, I think it is written into the question that there is no risk of revocation. So I think in terms of the hypothetical scenario, we're saying, okay, but if they did actually follow through on this,
still no.
No, well, you would say still no. I'm saying I agree that in reality I wouldn't do it because I would be worried about that risk. Yeah. But if we're saying that there's there's a guarantee it will work, then I would probably buy, my Spyros and my Crashes and a handful of things that I could play forever, if I know that I am actually likely to want to play this in 15 years' time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Day one patches notwithstanding, as you rightly point out, most games do not. Whatever you're buying on it. I mean, lots of there's Reddit forums or Reddit subreddits, I should say, that specialize in, I found this specific BLE, serial code version of this physical game, which means it's the one with all the patches or whatever. Like this is the one that you want to buy if you want if you want to hold on to it. That's sort of what people do now in regards to like the special games that they do want to hold on to. They will buy physically, but often they are not. Yeah, they are not the final product, as it were. With day one patches and other nonsense like that. But there we are. Shall we move on to something a little bit
stinky peculiar?
A little bit stinky peculiar,
stinky peculiar, and stinky headlines peculiar. It's weird news.
It's weird news time for some weird video game news. Remember, if you would like to submit some weird video game news, you can do so under the relevant social media post that goes out on a Wednesday. However, if you'd like to guarantee a shout out at this point in the podcast, you need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump, support us at the appropriate tier, and become a podcast producer, just like
Chip Thompson's Thumbs,
Gabrielle Philipping,
GY Goliath,
Nexus Polaris,
Nicole Hansen,
Blake Thomas,
David Cam,
Eric Sue,
Great Giggity,
Michael Pendlebury,
Katie Garrett,
and Big Wah Money. Wah, Bobby, wah, Vegas. Me, wah. Did you change the order of these?
Yeah.
You changed it up?
Yeah.
Okay. Just felt like it.
I had to take some names off.
Oh, okay.
So
take names.
Moved some stuff
just
around.
Shuffled some stuff
so
about.
So it was like an even...
Oh, and even on each side.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
I only think only one got moved. I think Gabrielle Philippink's name got shifted earlier. I think that's the only difference.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Felt different today. Peter, what have you got?
We've got a story here. It was submitted by Mr. Sterius or Sterius at Evil CSLD on Twitter and James Matthews, top fan, Ashton's relation on Facebook. Your cousin?
He's not.
He might be.
His name is spelt different. It's one T.
Is it?
Yep.
I'm gonna check.
Oh my god!
I may have
We're
typed it out
in the
manually.
middle of a podcast.
I typed it out manually, so I could have just put double T. Kotaku.com. I'm going to agree to their cookies. Deadlock cheaters are getting punished in the best way possible. Written by Ethan Gack. Subheading is: the hit Steam hero shooter continues to innovate in its secret closed beta.
Oh.
It's not a secret. Everyone knows about this.
Yeah, well, they do know. Yeah.
Cheating in online games has been a scourge since time in memoriam.
Rest in peace.
Cheating in online games has been a scourge since time in memoriam. But the ways that developers deal with malicious players continue to evolve and innovate. Deadlock, the Valve hero shooter quietly taking over Steam in its closed beta, is the latest multiplayer game to move the art forward by giving innocent players the chance to turn their cheating opponents into frogs. Despite not being out yet, or even barely announced, Deadlock's community has already had to contend with a cadre, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, of online cheaters among the ranks of its early beta invitees. But the MOBA-themed shooter, which is still in a wild experimentation phase, has been getting regular updates and balance changes. The latest patch is testing a novel new anti-cheat detection system for dishing out bans. When the user is detected as cheating, during the game session, the opponents will be given a choice between banning the user immediately and ending the match, or turning the cheater into a frog for the rest of the game, and then banning them afterwards, the patch notes from developer Yoshi Reed. The system is set to conserve detection levels as we work on a version 2 anti-cheat system that is more extensive. We'll turn on the banning of users in a couple of days after the update is out, and when a match is ended this way, the results will not count for other players. There should be a video on here, I think, of someone jumping around as
a frog.
Frog, yeah. The caption, someone posted this on Twitter and said, "Guys, do you ever get this weird glitch in Deadlock?" And it's then someone
Busted. Look at that.
just hopping around. There's there's animation to it. People can shoot the frog.
Yeah. There's a lot of work that's gone in there.
Yeah. So that's the story. That's a bit weird, isn't it?
How weird.
If you cheat,
Peculiar.
stinky peculiar, you could get turned into a stinky peculiar frog.
I have some weird news from Games Radar by Anna Kozaik.
Yes.
Maybe. Oh, it was submitted on Facebook by. What did we? Well, I don't.
We think it's Joach Dix.
Please let us know.
We're not sure how to pronounce your first name.
Yes. I have some news.
Go on.
You can't keep Mudeng for yourself, so Final Fantasy XIV players are swarming the MMO's Hippo Calf minion instead, and even Square Enix has caught the fever.
My goodness.
Unbothered, moisturized, happy, in my lane, focused, flourishing.
Nice.
You guys know who Mudeng is?
Yeah, it's Tiny Hippo.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised you know who Mudeng is.
It's
but
because
then
people won't stop talking about
You
it.
can't get away from pictures of Mudeng and memes.
Mudeng
Yeah.
likes to
Memes.
bite
Mudeng
people.
does, yeah.
Wriggles.
I did quite
what
like
Mudeng
the
does.
memes that because there was apparently another baby hippo that was very popular about 6 months ago or something.
Fiona?
Don't know.
This was like a few years
I
ago.
don't know if it's from the same zoo or whatever, but the zoo where Fiona lives, if that's what it's called, said, "Here's Fiona now," and it's like this, waist high, quite cute.
Like,
small
get outta
hippo.
here.
And
I
it
love-
was the Homer Simpson,
yeah.
batting the lamb in the face
Yeah.
meme.
I love pygmy hippos. I think they're cool. Love for little pygmy hippopotamus Mudeng is in the air, spreading all the way over to Final Fantasy XIV community and even to Squeenix itself. It's no secret that Mudeng has gone widely viral since his birth, or her birth. I thought it was a boy. I thought he had
No?
No.
I'm surprised you've heard of Mudeng.
I thought Mudeng was a boy and had a sister, but I guess maybe I was wrong. Since her birth at Kiao open zoo in Thailand. She's reaching all...
Open zoo? Is that like an open prison?
She's reaching all corners of the web, including MMOs like Final Fantasy XIV, where players are suddenly obsessed with the game's own hippo calf minion. Everyone has to have one, and while the market board's prices do indeed jump up and down over time, numbers for the semi-aquatic pet are soaring. As one fan points out in a post online, the power of Moodeng may very well have reached the in-game market. Just a few weeks ago, the hippo calf minion cost only 17,400 gil, but now it's at a pricey 300,000 gil in some servers. Players are finding other, less official ways to bring Moodeng into the MMO too. Fan-crafted mods like this one showcased in this screenshot. It's not loading.
Great screenshot.
It's not loading.
There's an advert though, that's loaded.
Features the adorable pygmy hippo. Oh.
So sad.
I don't mod my game much myself, but that sweater has me very... I can't see the flipping
It's wearing a
picture,
sweater.
but that sweater has me very tempted. The community isn't alone in its infatuation with all of the Moodeng mania either, as Square Enix is joining in on the hype train as well. One of the developer's more recent posts is a clip of the hippo calf minion opening its mouth wide as water splashes onto it, a cute reference to the video of Moodeng circulating on social media. And then another tweet that I can't see because it's not loading on your silly website.
Are the ads all right though? Are the ads.
Oh,
the ads are
the
there,
bajillion
yeah.
ads, yeah. The caption is just also as perfect and pop culture-y as its accompanying clip. Unbothered, moisturised, happy, in my lane, focused, flourishing. As Moodeng and Final Fantasy XIV stan, I'm obsessed with how both the fandom and Square Enix are finding ways to pull the tiny hippo into the game. All I want now is a collaboration event with Moodeng Zoo for an official in-game item, whether it be a tire or a brand new minion, as long as it's handled better than the Gong Cha promo.
Yeah, God, you remember how they handled the Gong
Cha promo? I'm surprised you even heard of Gong Cha.
Sorry, it's a she.
Sorry, that was rude, wasn't it? I
was a
didn't mean
bit.
to be rude. Like,
I use the internet.
yeah, but sometimes I say things and you guys look at me like I'm mental.
You say things
Yeah.
like, have you seen what Squing Bubbles has been up to recently? Like, what the
Squing
hell is
Bubble.
Squing Bubbles?
But
What are you loading?
I was just wanted to see
You want to see the sweater?
Amy said to me the other day, she said there was someone on an ad, on a fragrance ad, and she sometimes checks to see if I know who these celebrities are. And she said, do you know who that is? And I said, no, who? And I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said, that's
There it is.
Oh, there he is with his big mouth.
That's
Oh my
great.
God, he's very weird looking. That's not what
The
it
art
looks like in
style's a
real
bit
life.
upsetting.
Yeah.
And she said something like, oh yeah, that's Maisie. And I went, Maisie who? And she went, no, that's just her name. It wasn't
Maisie.
Maisie. It wasn't even as unusual as Maisie. It was a really very common female name. She was like, that's Sarah. And I was like, who's that? Sarah who? And she went, no, she's just called Sarah. It wasn't Zendaya. It was a very, very common name.
That just sounds like a children's.
And I was like, you can't do that if your name's
There's
Sarah.
Lisa.
Yeah, it might have been Lisa.
She's
Is she just called
used to
Lisa?
be in Blackpink, but now she's
What
going
is
solo. She's
Blackpink?
called K-pop band.
Okay.
And now her name is just Lisa.
Okay.
Is she Korean?
Yeah.
It wasn't a Korean person, but it could be, yeah,
What
someone
about
like
Poppy? Was it Poppy?
that. Might have been Poppy. Don't know.
Is she the rock star?
I want to say that it in my head it was Kylie, but obviously Kylie is Kylie Minogue.
Yeah,
and
we know-
it wasn't
we know it's
Kylie,
Kylie.
but it was a name like
so
it was like
funny
Rachel.
because if
or
you just
something.
said Kylie to a tween, they'd have thought Kylie Jenner.
yeah,
Oh,
well,
God, yeah.
I know,
They
but
sued each other, didn't they?
Did they?
for the
Yeah.
name Kylie.
Yeah, because Kylie
Oh.
Jenner wanted Kylie to be like her brand because she had Kylie Cosmetics, and Kylie Minogue was like, "No, I'm Kylie. I've
Who
got
won?
Kylie Minogue wine." I don't remember. I think it was just they're both allowed to be called Kylie.
Well, I would have thought so.
yeah, it was on their birth certificates.
Yeah.
but yeah, she's like that's Rachel. I was like, Rachel who? So no.
Next time she
That's
asks
just
you to
Rachel.
guess, say Squing Bubbles.
Yeah.
And see if it's that.
I'll say
'cause it
that's
could be.
Moodeng. I'll say,
How did
I
wow.
didn't
know
know you
that?
knew who Moodeng was.
Oh, sorry.
I've got
What
I've
about
got
the
some weird
penguin? You
news.
know about the penguin?
The penguin.
No,
Yeah,
you've
there's a
got me there.
big, round, fluffy baby penguin that
Oh,
people are
oh,
also
see, I'm
obsessed
not-
with.
Yeah, I think
No,
I have
no,
seen
I
that
don't know.
actually, but
What's
I don't
that
know its
called?
name.
I can't remember.
Oh damn.
Kylie.
Kylie.
Rachel.
I've got some weird news. This was submitted on Facebook by James Matthews, Nick Hudson, and Joach Dix, and I believe they're all top fans.
Yeah,
every
sorry.
single one of them.
I forgot to say they were a top fan.
Yeah, top fans, all relations. This is an article from IGN written by Wesleyan Paul. Tekken boss Katsuhiro Harada actually tried to get Colonel Sanders as a guest character, but KFC turned him down.
Oh man.
Very sad.
Not the colonel.
No, the colonel. Tekken development chief Katsuhiro Harada revealed he tried and failed to have Colonel Sanders added to the fighting game as a guest character. A long time ago, I wanted to have Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken fight, Harada told The Gamer. So I asked to use Colonel Sanders and go to the head office in Japan. Unfortunately, Harada's pitch was turned down with a bad look. Since then, Colonel Sanders actually did appear in a video game. I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator.
Yeah, have they asked again recently?
He's also
I bet they'd say yes.
He's also in the Funko Fusion game.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
And he's, I'm pretty sure various WWE wrestlers have dressed up as him and like dropped elbows on chickens and things as part of a promotional thing.
Because I had my weird news was that they were adding Colonel Sanders to Funko Fusion and his weapon fired chicken.
It was like a big bucket on his shoulder.
And you
or
had
something.
to find like 100 KFC buckets to unlock him.
They could definitely do it now.
If they asked now, KFC would be over the moon. They'd be like, "Thank you, yes, please."
Maybe
and can
they
he
don't
fight
want to see him
Ronald
get
McDonald?
beaten up. Maybe
well,
they're like,
maybe it's not the image that they want.
Yeah.
Harada went to Kentucky Fried Chicken and tried to get Colonel Sanders, game designer Michael Murray added. They weren't very open to the idea. Colonel Sanders appeared in games after that, so maybe it was just him fighting against someone that was posing a problem for them. But it just goes to show how difficult these types of discussions are. So no Colonel Sanders, but what about that Waffle House stage Tekken fans are desperate for? It's not something we can accomplish on our own, Harada said, pointing to the need for Waffle House's unlikely approval for such a DLC. Still, Tekken 8 fans do have the game's third DLC character. And his name is...
Wait, what was the sentence?
Heihachi Mishima to look forward to.
That really threw me off because I was like, well, you can't mean Heihachi Mishima because you know who that is.
The Onestead fighting veteran joins the roster as part of the upcoming free story expansion for Tekken 8 titled Unforgotten Echoes.
Yeah, Heihachi Mishima.
There we are. So yeah, no Colonel Sanders, unfortunately, even though those two-faced buggers have ended up releasing games with him in anyway.
I'm desperately trying to put together a chicken Katsu Harada joke in my head.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah.
Chicken. More like Kentucky Fried Chicken Katsu Harada.
Curry.
Yeah.
Very good. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound like you really enjoyed it.
I have hit a wall that I've never felt this way in a podcast before.
I can't wait for our joint stream later.
I can't wait for the play when she passes out on stage.
Crazy right now. Like I've just sat here listening to your news and I was like, oh my God, something's gone
Where
wrong.
am I? Well, you've not had much of your juice. You should have some more of your juice.
Yeah.
That might
I
help.
put too much squash in it.
And you
It's
dropped
too
your
strong.
biscuit on the way.
No, don't say she's
Oh, no, she's
going to
gonna
cry. Don't.
So she's not had
Stop
her sugar.
it. It's time for the big discussion.
Oh, yeah.
It's big discussion time for the big video game discussion. This week, that comes courtesy of Dan Scott, who says, hello, Bossaroos.
Hello.
Jason Schreier has recently said that Guerrilla's next project is Horizon Online and that a single-player Horizon 3 would be a while away. With The Last of Us Online getting canned, Concord bombing, Astrobot thriving, and Ghost of Yotei generating hype, it felt like there was... Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I was trying to fight that. It felt like there was hope that Sony would abandon chasing the live service model and focus on pursuing the single-player experiences that players love them for.
Get pranked.
This recent tidbit from Schreier, however, seems to confirm that this isn't the case. What are your thoughts on the concept of a live-action Horizon? Live-action? Service, I assume. Live service Horizon. Do you believe Sony will continue chasing the live service model beyond this project? And is this a... Wait.
Sorry.
Your phone's going crazy today.
Sorry.
And this... Don't apologize, turn it off. And is this a waste of Guerrilla's talents as a developer? Love you all. I've got a write-up from IGN, and it's Wesley Yin Poole again. He doesn't just write about Colonel Sanders, even though he's chief KFC correspondent for IGN. Horizon developer Guerilla Games' next project is the live service Horizon Online project, Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier has said. Schreier told Spawnwave's Spawncast the promised Horizon 3 might be a ways off. However, Guerrilla is an interesting place because they're working on this Horizon Online game that... I'm not sure how many people want that, Schreier said, raising questions about Guerrilla's strategy. They've got this Horizon Zero Dawn remaster coming and the Lego game, Lego Horizon Adventures, coming. What happens if neither of those hit? And it turns out there isn't a ton of interest in Horizon anymore. Are they still going to be doing the online game? There are a lot of questions around their strategy and around the online game that I certainly have. In July, studio director Jan Bart van Beek said the Horizon multiplayer game is a massive shift for the studio, almost on the same level as doing the first Horizon. Van Beek added, building this all out to a multiplayer experience is a whole new challenge for the studio. Guerrilla confirmed the existence of this long-rumoured multiplayer game in December 2022, revealing through a job listing that it will feature a brand new cast of characters and a new art style. A full-blown sequel to Horizon Forbidden West is also in development at the sequel, as Aloy's next adventure was mentioned in April. This will join the first two games alongside the PlayStation VR 2 spin-off Horizon Call of the Mountain as major video game entries in the franchise. Don't hold your breath for Horizon 3, however. And there's another quote. And their plan, I mean, Horizon Online is their next project, not whatever the third single-player game looks like, Schreier said, so that one might be a ways off. He continued, PlayStation's live service initiative was no joke. Everybody was like, it's live service games all round. Horizon is one of the few ones that hasn't been cancelled or hasn't come out and flopped the way Concord did. So a lot of questions there, but a lot of people are working on that online project. That's the write-up. The live service push will never stop. Peter, what do you make of this?
No, yes, it was nice to sort of naively, optimistically think or hope that, hey, look at these small number of data points that Sony might jump on and say, oh, Astrobot did great, and
Everyone's
Concord.
excited for Ghost of Your Time.
Yeah, and Concord did badly. I know what we should do, not live service games. I think even as we were saying it, we probably thought it's not likely to actually come into fruition that way because, unfortunately, these decisions are made by big boys and girls in big rooms with big ties on their necks, and they think that
the longest ties.
Yeah, and they think they can see that hypothetically there is lots and lots of money to be made in live service. And so I can't say I'm surprised. I can say I'm disappointed. I'm also not sure quite what the huge Horizon, all eggs in the Horizon basket strategy appears to be right now. We're getting Horizon Online, we're getting Lego Horizon, we're getting Horizon remastered, what are they calling it? And then eventually Horizon 3. That's great for Horizon fans. I mean, preferably I think they would rather have Horizon 3 than almost any of those other things. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be doing any Horizon at all. It's one of their big IPs. But given that they also are seemingly not doing very much else, it is disappointing to hear that not only are they doing lots of the same franchise, but that they're really trying to focus on live service. I think that potentially they will chase the live service model beyond this project, depending on how it goes. I think certainly if it does even okay, they will probably continue to chase live service, and it might sort of spread out into other series. God forbid they decide, hey, why don't we do a live service sort of open world The Last of Us? It's set in a survivors community.
Well, they were going to do the multiplayer, but that got binned.
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends how live servicey the multiplayer was going to be, but I can see them just making The Last of Us online or something like that. I mean, it's tricky because there are a few live service games out there that not only are successful, but not the kind of thing that we necessarily want to play. But you could argue that something like GTA Online, that is an ongoing product that, all right, none of us are playing GTA Online right now, but I can look from the outside in and say, you know what, if I had the time and the inclination, I would probably have a great time playing GTA even today. And so there are ways to do these things right and produce something that can make money and be appealing to not just kids who want to play Fortnite or people who want to play hero shooters. But yeah, I think they are likely to pursue this if they have some success here. And even if they have a catastrophic failure with it, which is unlikely at having the Horizon brand, that seemingly isn't even enough to dissuade these people these days. So yeah, I reckon it's just the next step in what could be an ongoing live service pursuit, unfortunately.
Mad.
Yeah.
Because I don't want a Horizon Online I'm the biggest fan of Horizon. You know that. I know that. I'm not going to hide it. I love it. But I don't know why they're doing this. I don't want to play it. I'm not bothered. If like a multiplayer game, if it's, what could it possibly be that would have me interested in it? If it was like a whole new story that you can play with your pal, okay, maybe I'll play it.
It's going to be Monster Hunter.
But it's going to be Monster Hunter. It's going to be, you go to this area and you get parts and you upgrade your bow and arrow or whatever, and you go to the next place. And I'm not interested in that. I want the third part of the story that was set up. I want to know how the game, like where it plays out, where we end up. I would love to do that, please. And it's disappointing for me because I am a big fan of Guerrilla, and I think that they've made some really brilliant games. And obviously, if this is the thing that they are passionate about, then who am I to tell them not to do it? But it just feels like old Herman Holst.
Yeah.
He's got his teeth in again, being like, what if we did a Horizon multiplayer?
Everyone likes Horizon.
Everyone loves it.
Lego Horizon.
Yeah.
Multiplayer Horizon.
Yeah.
Single
Remaster
player Horizon.
Everything. I feel like The Last of Us went through this whole like absolute reputation ruiner over the last 12 months, and I'm seeing it happen to Horizon, and it's making me upset because when it happened to The Last of Us, I was disappointed and I was upset that Naughty Dog were like pumping out these remasters. We didn't want the multiplayer. That got cancelled. Like they shot themselves in the foot and they ruined their reputation, and everyone now just thinks Naughty Dog, all they do is produce The Last of Us 1 and 2 over and over again in various ways. And I don't want to see that happen to Guerrilla Games. I don't want to see the Horizon brand become a joke in the sense of like, oh, Horizon's back again. I know that it kind of already has a bit of like a joke in the sense of like whenever a Horizon game comes out, an even better game comes out the week before or the week after. But this is just disappointing because I feel like I'm fighting like off people being like, no, it's a good franchise and they're doing good things with it. It's going to be really good and everyone's going to have a good time. But like I'm gradually becoming more and more, it's getting more and more difficult to keep defending the choices that are being made. And like I don't think this is a decision that was made by Guerrilla Games. I don't think this is a decision that was made by the developers. I think this is a decision that came down from Sony, who told all their first party studios, you have to produce me a live service game.
Same with Naughty Dog. I imagine they weren't super keen to just do more of the same two games.
Yeah. You have to do this. Here's the strategy. We're going to release this game again, and then we're going to release a live service game because that's how we can make money. And we've said before, and we've said it like quite a lot recently, that Sony haven't got a portfolio of games coming out at the moment. They haven't got anything that people are super excited about. Well, up until last week with the Ghost of Your Time, but like everything is kind of just the same thing again, and we're not seeing much from Sony, and we're not seeing much from Sony first party studios, and I can't help but feel like this current trajectory they're on is just not good. There's that like running joke of like the graph where it's just going up and down. Like every time they do something good, the next day they announce something stupid, and I think that's just like we're just watching it happen. And I do think you're right that this is probably, we're midway through the process of them like trying out live service games, figuring out it's not going to work, and then going back to what they are good at, or finding something that does work and getting into that instead. I feel like we're in the middle of Sony's complete game restructure, and thus far it has been nothing but stinkers.
Because I guess you can, as much as you can cite Concord and say, look, you should know that it doesn't work, they can just say, but Helldivers, you know, or but what these other people are doing. So we can't just pin it all on Concord and Astrobot and say everyone wants single player games, no one wants live service. You have all the information you need because they have counter arguments, I guess, unfortunately.
I don't like it. I spoke about it last week about how I enjoy Horizon, but I think it's a really interesting, by which I mean kind of strange choice of franchise for Sony to hitch their wagon to. It definitely has its merits, and it is very popular for good reason. They're great games. But is it the thing that you want to be the flagship VR launch title? Is it the thing that you want to be, at this huge live service game, the Lego game that's going to appeal to kids and
I
stuff.
think the VR one, it makes the most sense out of the three. Like, if you're going to do a VR game and you want it to look visually stunning, that's a world that is already established as being very pretty and having very big moments. So I guess that one, I'm like, yeah, makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But the other things, I have no idea what they're doing.
I just think it's odd. I think it's a really bizarre decision. And I know that it's not helped by the fact that while they have a strong relationship with Marvel and, they own the Spider-Man movie rights at the moment, Spider-Man is not their character, which is why, mild spoilers for Astrobot, there's no Spider-Man stuff in Astrobot, because it's like the licensing arrangement for that would have been way more complicated than getting any of those other game characters in there. So they've, but they still have lots of other franchises and characters that, as pointed out by Astrobot, they are not using and that are still very popular with a lot of people. And is Aloy more recognizable these days than Nathan Drake? Probably, honestly, because Nathan's been on ice since 2016. But even so, I still can't help but feel some reticence at like Horizon everything. Horizon's the way forward. We're gonna try all these new things, and it's gonna be Horizon flavored. Because you're right in that if people don't like the live service game, they're not going to blame it being a live service game. They're going to blame it being Horizon. Horizon, the brand, will take a knock for that, and that's rubbish as well. I do think it's a waste of Guerrilla's talent and resources, because as the what's his name, Jan Bart van Beek, the studio director, as he said, they're basically having to completely not completely restaff, but change how they make games, because they've never made anything like this before, much like they did for the original Horizon. I'd argue that was, obviously, hindsight being what it is, a really good decision, but also because Guerrilla weren't really smashing out hits before that point. Very few of their Killzone games ever really took hold of people, and a lot of them reviewed kind of all right, and they were enjoyed, but they didn't set the world on fire. And then switching to Horizon was a genius move. But the sheer effort required to not just make a new genre of game, but like make something that has to be supported in perpetuity forever, potentially. What a colossal waste of time that is. I cannot see this being popular with people. I think it's going to have an uphill battle, even if it is decent. It's going to have a real uphill battle with the Horizon faithful, with the Sony faithful. Certainly, you're not going to be bringing the kids in from the Lego Horizon game and having them play this, because it'll be rated, I imagine, at least 16.
Well, it depends what they do with it. Like, obviously, this point was just Horizon Online, and it depends if they're going to make it just the hunts, everyone's in a thing and everyone has to hunt either each other or monsters or whatever. But because
if you keep gore down to a minimum and it's just that, then you could probably get away with making it sort of
just killing the robot
PG,
animals. But
in fact, the robots, aren't they?
I just think that it might turn out and be brilliant, and I'm hopeful that it is. Like I'm hopeful that it will be great, and Guerrilla will be like, haha, you all doubted us, but look what we made, and everyone loves it.
That'd be lovely.
But then also that would make Sony go, we were right all along.
Let's get
You're
everything.
all stupid.
All live service forever.
Boot up the Last of Us game again.
Concord is back.
I don't think it's in this write-up, but I'm pretty sure I heard or read somewhere that there would be a departure in art style as well.
You literally read it.
I did read that. Yeah. So it's going to look different.
Yeah.
Don't know what that means.
It's a new cast of characters and new art style.
So that probably means that it's not going to look like the Horizon games we know it.
I'm envisioning
what?
The Final Fantasy, the Kingdom Hearts mobile games. That's what I'm imagining.
Really?
When I think about this, that is what I see. And it's just like a little chibi Aloy and like all of the friends. And I know it probably won't be that, but in my head I'm like, that's what we're getting.
They can't change it up too much. But if they do, I think actually, regardless of what they do, that's another hurdle that they have to overcome with the audience. Is like, that doesn't, what is this? It's cell shaded, for example. This isn't. This is so
look like my Horizon.
This is Horizon in name, kind of only. I'm fed up with this, and we all know that It takes a very long time to turn around a ship quite as big as Sony. These games are years and years and years and millions and millions and millions of pounds into development at this point, way before Herman and the other fella whose name I always forget took over as leading PlayStation. You know, the Herman Hulst tie is suspicious. Obviously, eyebrows should be raised because he is from Guerilla originally.
Yeah.
And also we know how much of a cheerleader he was for Concord, which is the biggest black eye that Sony PlayStation has ever been dealt, and it was self-inflicted. So questions surely have to be raised there, but it could well be that this is just them, you know, I'm desperately trying to look on the bright side here.
Yeah.
This could be them seeing through what was already in place, and the PlayStation that we have in 5 to 10 years is totally different and is sort of more in line with the kind of thing that people want from it.
The effects of Jim Ryan rippling through.
Jimmy Ryan.
Well, that's true, because, you know, whatever they're working on at the moment and announcing and saying this is in progress will have been being worked on for a while already. So even if, for example, Concord has given them a wake-up call and they've thought, maybe we shouldn't really pursue live service super hard going forward, they might still be saying, well, we'll finish the sentence we're on, you know, kind of thing. You know, we'll do Horizon Online because we've put a lot into it. We'll hope it goes well, but maybe beyond that, we might change direction. So recent events don't necessarily affect things that are in progress right now.
And at the very least, Horizon will almost certainly have more appeal and goodwill than Concord, which was very derivative of lots of other things. You know, they took a punt on, as much as it would be nice to have a completely new IP, I think that launching a new IP as a live service is probably more challenging than launching a new IP as a single-player game. And Concord was sent out to die.
Yeah.
This will do better than Concord. I think there's not much doubt about that. It's just whether it does well enough.
Or if it's what people want. Which I don't think they do. But if you want it, let us know in the comments below. I tell you what, like 20 odd years ago, no, probably 15, God, I'm losing track of time. Like back in the PS3 days, the idea of having anything online was so appealing to the extent that if you told me that there was an Uncharted game that like had an online version where you could log in every day and play with your friends
and there'd be new content all the time,
I'd be like, that's brilliant. But we're so burned out on that, and it's gotten so predatory. And I know that there are places that do it well, like Helldivers, where it isn't that. But it's just, you know, you have finite time, and not everything can be this.
Yeah.
Some of the things that we want as single player games need to be single player games for us to ever have a hope of ever playing them properly. And times change, and I hope that Sony will change with them in a good way, but we will see. Let us know what you thought of everything we discussed today in the comments below, as always, and Peter's going to tell you a couple of places around the internet that you can find us if you'd like to.
Sorry.
Jesus.
You said you can find us, and I thought that was it.
If you'd like to.
If you'd like to. You can find us, if you'd like to, at youtube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump. We stream on Twitch, of course, and occasionally on YouTube on special occasions. And YouTube, of course, is home to various exciting videos. And if you've got Amazon Prime, the bundle of things you're paying for includes a Twitch sub at no extra cost, so you can redeem that against our channel and get all the benefits of being a subscriber.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, on all of which we are at Team TripleJump. And if you would like to support us, it's patreon.com/Team TripleJump.
Our website is triplej.mup. There you can find links to everything that we do. That's triplejU.mp. And why not leave a 5-star review on your platform of choice? It helps. Something to do with Al Gore's rhythms. We'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. Just enough time for this week's sponsor, again, which is, of course, the collaboration between Konami and a well-known brand of AC units. I don't have the name of the brand here, but it's well-known from what I understand. This is a limited edition product, so get your pre-orders in now. Tie into their upcoming horror remake, Silent Chill. Ooh.
So cold.
So cold.
So cold.
Probably turn it off. It's a waste of electricity. Thank you so much for watching / listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.